games. We've got game number 2 coming up here. Ash versus Well Met. Ash already up 1-0. Nick, we're getting straight on into the draft. Let's talk a little bit about these maps that are getting banned out here.
Well, we have Blackheart's Bay being banned out here for Well Met. Not a unordinary ban for sure. And then Ash is banning out Garden of Terror and Sky Temple. Probably feeling those are their weak maps for blood for blooding people, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, well, it looks like we're going to be going to Cursed Hollow here. So very standard map. Again, we talk about this all the time. Cursed Hollow being that standard map you go to when you kind of want to just have a straight up game. It's one of those maps you have to learn early on as a competitive team in Heroes of the Storm because you play it so very often. Yeah,
very much so, and it revolves around a lot of really cool decision-making. It's not so much forced decision-making, and it's not the biggest decision-making map in the rotation that we have. Dragonshire, I think, is a little bit more decision-making oriented. Cursed Hollow, you can make some bad decisions and still be able to kind of save yourself later on. Especially, though, is that Cursed Hollow is a huge team fight potential map because of those tribute spawns. They are giant one point on the map that every team has to kind of focus around. Anubarak and Zeratul bans yet again.
Yeah, definitely. Just those target bans coming out. Obviously, Anubarak being picked up by Ash quite a bit for the Blood for Blood. But, yeah, and then Ash banning out Zeratul because Well Met has been using Zeratul to quite good effect in this tournament so far. And Ash this time, though, with that first pick, so they're able to get Illidan and a Blood for Blood in that first pick.
Yeah, that's the double win there, as the Illidan and the Blood for Blood, so they can potentially go for that 4 Blood for Blood pickup. But, you know, last time we saw them actually not even use all the Blood for Bloods that were available by picking up that Thrall, so that's a very interesting point that I think, you know, they like that playstyle, but I don't think it's completely centric to how they really want to play everything. We see the Uther and the Sylvanas pickup coming out here from Well Met.
Yeah, I honestly think if they, of all teams, decide that Tempest Fury is better than Blood for Blood, I trust them because they really love that quad Blood for Blood or triple Blood for Blood, however it works out for them. But yeah, we do see the Uther and Sylvanas coming out there for Well Met. Relatively safe picks. They do take one of those Blood for Bloods away, but and they also grab a strong support in the form of Uther, who could very well be used as a healer for the Illidan, but I feel that Ash just wants that Rhaegar for the Blood for Blood, and we keep harping on it, but I mean, that's really the case. And yeah, again, it's going to be Ash picking up Vala and Jaina, so a ton of bursts coming out here for Team Ash.
Yeah, the question here is, they get that Rhaegar, they get the really nice Ancestral Keeps Illidan alive for a little bit longer. They don't get the Uther, which is a shame. They can't get that Divine Shield. But with that Rhaegar, they get a double win. They get a double whammy out of here. They get that 3rd Blood for Blood out here for their team. And then, who do they pick up as their warrior? What if they even picked up a Tyrael, man? That would be their 4th Blood for Blood.
I have to feel we're going to see Rhaegar Tyrael here. I mean, it's what they're used to playing. It works very well with their comp. I mean, Tyrael Illidan has a lot of synergy. Rhaegar and Illidan have a lot of synergy. They both have Blood for Bloods. That would put them at that quad Blood for Blood with Jaina. Jaina, I mean, she doesn't even need Blood for Blood. And she's got Envenom. So, I mean, there you go.
I mean, there you go.
But the Rhaegar actually did come out from Well Met, but I didn't notice that. Yeah, so it's actually going to be Malfurion Muradin coming out here for Ash. And I got a little bit ahead of myself there, but we do have Malfurion for that really nice sustain. And Muradin pick, definitely interesting here. I mean, he is a very strong pickup. He does get picked up even in sometimes cases where he doesn't prove to be quite that strong of a pick, but we do have the double healer coming out from Well Met. It's really interesting to know.
That is actually pretty weird to see that double healer because they haven't picked up, and I don't think they could pick up somebody that could really, well, I guess I can emphasize the sustained damage kind of build out of them. They pick up that Malfurion on Ash, and then now the Sergeant Hammer and the Sylvanas. That's, I don't know, that's a really weird build to go for. They can't really wombo. It's going to be stage dive ETC, so it's not like they can really turn this into a massive team fight win. Maybe, you know what, the Sergeant Hammer auto attack build I think could do a good amount of work, but I don't know if it's going to do enough.
Yeah, they're a bit light on damage here, definitely, considering they have a Sylvanas. The thing that Well-Met does have going for them is they have a ton of direct healing, big direct healing for the burst coming out of Team Ash, so that is definitely one thing they have there, and yeah, Sergeant Hammer can do some nice work. He can definitely be nice in kind of a sustained comp, but we'll have to see if they have enough damage to deal with the threat that is Ash.
Yeah, that is gonna be the question here, of course. If they can actually hold off Ash, they go to game number 3, but Ash is up game 1 over them, so they're already on the back foot. They have to survive throughout this and make it to game number 3, otherwise they're going to be knocked out here and they're going to have to qualify on another day.
Yeah, and just talking about the comps a little bit, I mean, it's going to be quite a tough feat to do much damage to Ash. I mean, they do have that Muradin front line is so very tanky, and I mean, Illidan, he's going to be evading stuff, so I don't know if Well-Met will have enough damage, but they definitely can stay alive for quite a bit.
That's true. You know what? That's a really good point. We were talking before about Sergeant Hammer auto attack build, but Illidan blocks all that out with his E.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's really, really huge blocking auto attacks there from Sergeant Hammer. I mean, that's a lot of her damage. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of tricky. Typically, we see a lot of Illidan and Hammer on the same team nowadays. We've seen some other teams picking those two up together, but Illidan against Hammer, that's definitely going to be an interesting interaction.
It's going to be a very, very scary minute, so we've got a little bit of time before we're going to be able to get into this game, though. Again, this is going to be game number 2 here of the best of 3. This is the Enter the Storm Cup number 2, sponsored by Alienware and a couple of other awesome sponsors. We're going to get into that game as soon as we can, but right now, let's talk about where do these qualifiers go, Nick?
Where do they go?
Yeah, where do they go? What are you qualifying for?
Oh, you're qualifying for Gosu Cup number 2, which has some really fantastic prizes. We're talking money, hardware, and man, the first Gosu Cup was such a success. We saw so many high-level games, and man, after casting that event, I was just hooked on EU. Like, such high-level gameplay going on there, and really looking forward to the main event, Gosu Cup number 2.
Is that when we lost you, Nick? Was when you cast Gosu Cup number 1?
That was when the betraying began. I was completely sold on Europe at that point.
The modern day Illidan.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some really awesome stuff. I mean, Na'Vi really impressed the heck out of me with their Wombo combo comps, with their, oh man, Illidan, Melee Zeratul, no tank comp with Divine Shield. That kind of stuff just blew my mind.
I remember those games. I did see a couple of those. Wow, yeah, those were great games.
Yeah, and then Team Liquid, man, they're just like, hey, first pick Vikings, what's up? Like, what are you going to do? And yeah, I mean, we've seen like Illidan, Hammer, double healer out of them, some really awesome stuff, and yeah, it was a really good cup. We actually did see Complexity play. They didn't do too well, but it was nice to have some NA blood in the tournament as well. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to number 2.
Well, let's talk about number 2s. We've got game number 2s just up starting right now. Cursed Hollow, as we were saying before, is the map. We've already got both our teams selected, teams ready to go, and we've got the loading screen coming in right now. So we're going to see this match point. This is the scary point here for, of course, Team Well-Met. They've already lost a game going up now against Ash. Ash with the core rushes. We've seen them do it twice now. Once on Blackheart's Bay, now in another game on Dragonshire, where they just go for the kill. Let's get straight on into this match, into this game, and check out how both these teams are going to be dealing. Spawning over here on the right-hand side, it is Team Well-Met, and they've got Servo on the Sylvanas. They've got Uther being played by Sport Billy, Hasu Obs on Sergeant Hammer, Socket on the ETC, and Shadowmare on the Rhaegar.
And on the left side of the map, as the blue team, we have Team Ash. We have Unstable on that Vala, Sebeka J on the Malfurion, Andy Lendy on Jaina, Stalk on Muradin, and Kuni-chan on Illidan.
Alright, so both these teams coming down into the middle of the map. It looks like it's going to be a 4-man stock up here. of Servo Ult, Sport Billy, Hasuops, and Shadowmare. Looking like they might want to just wait to see where their opponents are going before they decide to do anything.
Yeah, and they are in the adjacent rush. Pretty funny here. Both teams just kind of setting up in that really that nice spot there in the mid, but it's going to be Team Ashe that opens up on the minions here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to just start killing a couple of these things. Looked like they started to pour out, but it looks like not too much was actually able to happen out of that. Taking a look at the talents, nothing too crazy coming out of here. We're seeing the extra damage on the trait from Sergeant Hammer. It gives her 10% more damage every time that she's just a little bit too far to do her normal melee range auto attack. But when she's farther away, when she's greater than 1.5 range, she does an additional amount of damage from her trait. Meanwhile, we're pouring into, you know, normal laning against everybody else. It looks like there's going to be that triple lane coming down bot lane with Sylvanas and Hasuops doing the same exact sieging that we've seen them do before.
I feel like Ashe is going to have to match this. I mean, Sylvanas and Hammer are just doing insane amounts of work here to this wall, and a cannon tower already going down and a second one on the way as well.
Yeah, they're trying to push this top lane, but I don't know if it's going to be nearly as successful as Hasuops sitting down there with the Sylvanas. Already, they've gotten both towers down, and just barely, Ashe has only taken out one tower, and they have to back up. They have taken way too much damage in order to take out that second one.
Yeah, a lot of damage being taken there by Ashe, and I don't know, I feel like they might be able to get this cannon tower here, but that's going to be a really early fort coming here.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping this. The damage coming out here from Hasuops, he's taking out the fountain, now going straight for the fort. Oh, there's a pause on the map from Zaka. Curious what's going on here. Oh, they have a DC.
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
Oh,
and yeah, thankfully we got that pause feature back in the game, so that's really, really nice that we can actually pause here. But yeah, I don't know, this push here from Wellmet is really crazy, and the bottom fort about to go down here for Ashe.
Yeah, I mean, Shadowmare apparently DC'd who is their Rhaegar player. I mean, at this point, they could just be like, you know what, it doesn't matter if Shadowmare is here or not, we're going to pick up this fort regardless, because there's no issue here for them picking up this fort. Illidan can't really defend a fort by himself at all, so this is going to be difficult for them. Oh, looks like game's coming back in. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like the game has resumed, and again, what we were talking about, the fort going down here, but the fort's still staying resilient in the top here.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a ton of damage coming out there from their little trio lane up there. They lose that fort. That's massive. Look at the level difference already coming out from both these teams.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of an experience gap here. And we're having the first tribute of the game spawning on the side of Ashe here. A little bit better positioning for them, but... Oh, Illidan actually getting picked off here.
Oh, wow. He's going to get picked off, and it looks like Stalk is taking heavy hits as well. Servo ult now getting engaged upon by the Jaina, by Andy Letty, by Seb, but it's not going to be enough. Stalk does go down. This is going to be a really nice pickup here for Wellmet. They were taking pretty good advantage in this game so far.
Yeah, nice little pick on that rotation there, and really taking advantage even of the kind of disadvantageous tribute location for them. So really, really nice play, and now they are up quite a bit of experience here.
They are. I mean, they've gotten that fort as well. I mean, they're already sitting in a pretty good spot. They pick up a Grave Golem later on the bottom side of the map. That's going straight for keep towers. That's nothing to really balk at.
No, it's not. And now they've rotated the tri-lane to the middle, getting another cannon tower in the mid here. So they're well on their way to level 7 here, while Ashe still has a bit to go.
But I feel like Ashe is going to have a huge amount of advantage coming on into those team fights, and that's, I think, where we're going to be a little bit scared about, especially because this map kind of focuses around a lot of those types of team fights. Kunichan engaging Stalker down here in the bot lane. The tribute has come up. Nobody's really going for it. In fact, it looks like there's a little bit more of a rotation to go back down bot lane.
Yeah, trying to pick off Sake here, and you go down, no, the auto attacks at the end, not enough from Jaina. But yeah, once again, applying pressure is Wellmet on this middle lane, getting yet another cannon tower, and yeah, the tribute just being fought over by Murden and Rhaegar.
Rhaegar's actually losing. Murden's winning here. he's got his perfect storm, so every single time he actually lands one of those storm bolts on the Shadow Mare, he's going to be able to get a little bit more damage. Zeb taking huge amount of damage, not going to be able to get out of that fight alive. Kuni-chan, though, taking actually a good amount of damage himself. Sport Billy, though, is going to go down. Servo ult really low, but the Uther heal is going to keep him alive for just a couple more seconds. Kuni-chan now coming back in onto Hasulabs. Looks like that is not going to be a fight for Hasulabs because Unstable has also come in here. And it looks like Ash is going to be able to turn this entire team fight around and pick up their tribute. So they're now 1-1 in tributes.
Yeah, just a little bit of overeagerness I feel there from Well-Met. I mean, they do have the double healer comp, so you don't want to go too crazy here. You kind of want to just keep yourself all alive. You know, you have the benefit of that double healer, but man, I gotta say though, Well-Met has been putting so much pressure out on the map. Even with the fact that they're using double healers, that Sergeant Hammer Sylvana is really getting them an early game advantage, but now it's kind of been evened out a bit because of those kills. So now, I mean, Ash still has a lot of buildings to remove from the side of Well-Met, so they could actually, a little bit later on, get an experience lead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it comes down to they've got really good sieging and pushing potential, but they're taking team fights, which is, I don't think, their huge advantage in this area, in this game right now. If they keep taking these team fights, I don't know if they're going to keep winning them. They need to press their advantage somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, Sport Billy getting caught out here, and that's definitely not how you want to have a fight start for when you're running a double healer comp. That extra healer is so very important here, and I feel that, I mean, they just really couldn't afford to make these mistakes here, and they really wanted to have a better lead here, not even give up any tributes here, but the last two tributes going over to the side of Ash, so really, really nice by Ash to kind of deal with this comp and get some picks here.
This puts Ash in a huge advantage. They can decide whether or not they want to go for this next tribute, or actually what they're deciding right now is to go for the Grave Golem. It looks like Well-Met is going to do exactly the same. It looks like it's going to be mirroring both of these builds. The good thing here is that Ash is picking up the bottom Grave Golem. If they didn't get this one, I mean, we were saying before, if they lose a Grave Golem on the bot lane, it's going to go straight to keep towers. This one, though, is just going to help them push in that bottom fort. They've got a lot to go through, though, on that bottom fort. There's still two towers, there's still the gate and everything else. Meanwhile, well, Met's Golem is going to be able to do... Actually, no, they never took out the towers up there either. So, both these Golems just kind of going into full force. It looks like both teams just want to defend it.
Yeah, so it's really nice by Ash here. I mean, they did rotate up, and they weren't able to stop the Grave Golem in time, but the fact that they already up there, they're able to defend this Grave Golem a lot easier. And even no, one of the cannon towers does go down, but relatively low damage, whereas the Grave Golem of Ash is doing quite a bit of work here. I mean, it looks like Ash is just saying, forget it, we're going for mid-fort. Or sorry, Well-Met is saying, forget it. But that tribute spawned, so they really can't go for it.
The tribute is spawning. There's a stage dive out here for the ETC, so he can immediately come in here. He can just sit here and defend against this Grave Golem, but there's the Metamorphosis. Here comes the stage dive, going straight on in. Andy is really low in health, and there's the Divine Storm, Divine Shield on the Hasulabs, trying to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but Shadow Mare gonna get picked up before the Ancestral's gonna go down. Sake also losing his life, and it looks like Ash is gonna be able to pick up this tribute and this curse, unless something miraculous happens here. Hasulabs, though, gonna forfeit his life as well. Servo so low in health. Kuni-chan is going for the kill. I don't think Servo can get out. Oh my god, the beautiful teleport to get out of there. He's gonna survive.
Craziness. Wow, really, really nice to survive there. I thought he was picked off for sure, but a nice little escape, but still a big problem here for Well-Met.
Yeah, this is a massive problem for them. They lost the bottom fort to the Grave Golem. They've got siege camps pushing out here for them to keep a little bit of lane pressure, but look, they just got cleaned up as well. The top fort taking heavy hits. Sokka trying to go up there and try and defend this out, but they've lost so many members. They're down 13 to 12, and that level 13's come in here. Ice Block, Sprint, Sixth Sense, Thunderstrike, and Frost Shot in favor now of Team Ash. They're taking this game really, really well going on to the mid game.
Yeah, definitely, and we have that 13 talent tier out for Ash. What do we have? We have Ice Block on Malfurion, Sprint on Jaina, Sixth Sense on Illidan, Thunderstrike on Murden, and Frost Shot on that Vala.
What are they fighting for? What's going to be the next point? They've got Bruisers up in 20 seconds over here on the side of, well, Met. Ash looks like they just want to set something up here. I don't know what they can set up. Oh, they looked like wanted to go for Sokka, but it wasn't going to happen.
Just looking to get a little bit more free damage. I mean, they do have high damage, and I mean, Wellmet really can't capitalize much. They don't have a whole ton of lockdown, and I feel that Ash is kind of just abusing this fact a bit and just taking what they can, just nibbling away at Wellmet, and then just kind of running away after it. But we do have the engagement here. But
Level 13 has been grabbed as well. Sokka now going to be in the front lines here for Wellmet, but Kunichan coming in from the back line, going to use his Metamorphosis. It looks like the rest of the damage deal is coming right on in here. Shadowmare taking heavy hits. Is he going to be able to survive this? No, he's not. Sokka now going to be the next target, really low in health. Kunichan backing back out, took a lot of damage. Going to use this as their advantage to take out 2 more keep towers. Very, very beautiful play here from Ash.
Yeah, definitely really, really nice by Ash. I mean, that tranquility, just being enough sustain for them to just do all the work they want to, and just not enough damage coming out there from Wellmet to actually put any pressure on them. So they just had to keep retreating. I mean, they had the double healer to help them get out, but as far as killing any heroes, I mean, they just weren't able to do much with that tranquility.
Yeah, that tranquility, I mean, it's just so good. It's great AoE damage to heal up everything, and that's a lot of Hammer and Sylvanas' like main thing. They do Napalm Strike, they have their Wailing Arrow, that's a little bit of AoE. Everything else is very sustained chip damage. That over time does a lot of damage. You know what Tranquility immediately negates? Sustained damage. It's so good at dealing with it. If you can't burst down a Tranquility composition, then you're going to be in a really bad spot.
Yeah, and definitely a lot of sustained damage there, but I mean, oh man, what is this fight gonna turn out to be?
This fight is gonna happen here. Sokka taking a lot of damage yet again. Here comes the Ancestral and the Divine Shield. A little bit too much on Sokka here. They could potentially lose Squirt Billy because of this, and yes, he's gonna go down. Oh my god, no, he doesn't. Sokka goes down. That was a little bit of a turn of events, but that's still gonna be a huge advantage here for Ash on the map. Though they did lose Jaina, Sokka is their tank. They need him to stay alive a lot throughout these team fights. The damage, losing the damage for Jaina is going to be an issue, but they didn't lose the Illidan, and that's going to be the big thing here.
Yeah, definitely, and so much map pressure on the side of Ash. We have those bruisers in the mid, the Siege Giant still alive in the top doing work to those top keep towers. The only thing that Wellmet really has going for them is the push in bottom, which will be cleaned up here shortly by the Vala of Ash.
And, you know, once they clean this up, they take their own Grave Golem. That bottom keep is now going to be a little bit under pressure if they don't reciprocate this type of pressure. I mean, well met, they're not going to have much. It's that Grave Golem's going into a mostly full fort. There's not really a whole lot they're going to gain out of this, except for the fact that they deny a Grave Golem.
Yeah, definitely. This Grave Golem isn't going to do too much here, but, I mean, it looks like Ash is going to be having to going for this tribute here. So it could do a little bit, but, I mean, that Grave Golem in the bottom lane from Ash, like, that's just going to prevent Wellmet from even contesting this.
Yeah, this is going to be a really rough spot. Now, again, they're up 2 tributes. One more is going to be a curse. They get that curse. This is going to be almost impossible for Wellmet to really handle. Wellmet has to get a beautiful engagement here. ETC pushing with their Grave Golem, trying to do as much as possible, trying to get at least that fort down because this will be their second fort of the game. But Wellmet is in the back line here. They have to defend off this keep. The stage dive is going to be coming in pretty shortly, I assume. Here comes the Metamorphosis. Kunichan going on in here. Keep has gone down. It's going to be the first keep of the game. Sokka now going in here, trying to do as much damage as possible. He's taking a lot of hits. Divine Shield as well as the Ancestral going to try and keep him alive. Shadowmare taking too much damage, but he is going to be able to just barely get away. No, Stalk goes in with the leap. He is going to go down though. And Servo Ult now taking too many hits. It looks like this is going to be Ash's time to take another game here from Wellmet. The Grave Golem's got a lot of health missing, but he could potentially tank enough of the core's hits in order for them to end the game, and that is exactly what's going to happen here. Kunichan is unstoppable. Sebka uses his block of ice, but oh my god, Ash takes game number 2. And that's going to be the series.
Ash just showing some really dominating performance there, drafting a composition that they feel comfortable